Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're doing good and enjoying your day so far. Zuma instigates Scrappy to reveal exactly what went down with an OpTic versus Los Angeles Thieves Scrim set that seemingly went on last night. Scrap reveals the map count of the Scrim, but he does not say which team actually won the Scrim. Can we potentially infer from the way that he says it what actually happened during the Scrim? But are OpTic getting significantly better after their struggles so far here in Major 2 qualifiers? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, I thought just quickly to note, because Kremp did a video on breaking down OpTic struggles. We've obviously talked about the fact that OpTic have Scump, they have Formal, they have Karma, they have Crimsix, all as part of their organization. On paper, and okay, Scump isn't going to get involved, Formal's too busy, and so to be fair is Kremp. But there are unbelievable resources, clearly, within that OpTic camp, theoretically, and, well, that's where Crimsix is maybe thinking about also getting involved. So he did a video on it, but he is a busy man, Crimsix, and actually it is tomorrow that he's back on the track at the Circuit of the Americas. So, yeah, the VP Challenge boys, which is this guy, Kiko Porte, and then also, of course, Ian Porter, they're going to be there at Coast. This is, of course, the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, and he'll be there. Okay, yeah, so it's the other guy, Matthew Dickin, as well, Ian Crimsix Porter, number 68, and yeah, this is the schedule for the weekends. So, yeah, tomorrow is practice 1, practice 2 qualifying, and then 2 races on the Saturday, and it's all going to be, you can watch it on YouTube, I think, as well, on Peacock or on YouTube. So, that's the thing, right? Kremp may be a perfect candidate, so obviously, to help OpTic with maybe some of their issues, but the man also is doing other things, right? And it's not like he can say, you know what, guys, sorry, can't race this weekend. The boys need help during the minor, right? Like, that's not really going to work. So bringing Kremp in on like an ad hoc basis, that might be possible. Before we get to some of the drama, this is the Neptune card. And look, he's only played 3 matches. So I kind of, you know, I do want to see a little bit of a greater sample size here. But I think 3 matches are enough for us to have seen what the state of affairs is with Neptune, and he has been cooking, right? Again, I don't know how Rambo does it, but he makes decisions in the off-season that are highly questionable. Like, to me, getting rid of Hook, getting rid of aBeZy, bringing in Nastie and Hicksy. I liked the aBeZy for Nastie thing. I thought, like, I rate Nastie. I think aBeZy's good as well, but I understand that change. Hook for Hicksy was, to me, very questionable. And I think it's proven to be that way as well. But then, fair play to Rambo. Mid-season, he cooks him a masterpiece. Last year, bringing in an 04, changing Abuzah's role. Again, I don't know why Abuzah was on the AR at the start, or the sub at the start of last season. It was never a good idea. Finally put him on the AR, brought in 04, and last year's surge got way better. And this year, he's cooked up another masterpiece, it seems. Bringing in Neptune, a game that suits this guy really well, and he's been cooking. I mean, his impact has been off the scale, actually. He plays at such a fast pace. Nobody can seem to handle it. Great partner with 04 as well, and they're starting 3-0 so far this stage. His control has been so good. I mean, to be honest, it's not even just the control, it's just the impact. Look at this. Kills per 10, damage per 10, kills per 10, damage per 10, 97, 99, 95, 99, which is basically highest in the SMG category in all stats. It's only the search that lets him down a bit that stop him from basically being a near 99 overall card here. But 8s were going down last night, and they were raising some serious questions. Scrap and Drazah were getting into it as always, so there are a couple of 8 series happening. This was one of them, so it was Drazah, Slasher, Pred, and Xnid. That was one team of 4 versus Proloot, Byron, Hook, Skyz, and Standy. So yeah, that was the thing. Of course, you know, they're streaming, they're making content around it, which is great to see, and there was plenty of content going on elsewhere, such as this 250-249 from Pred's perspective, and bit of a breakdown, which was yeah, not pretty from their side, especially because Pred's team were up pretty big in this one, but here on the red cards, Pred eventually goes down, and that was all she wrote. 250-249. That was exactly, I think it was that roster, wasn't it? With the Xnid, Slasher, and Drazah going down in a pretty rough manner. Difficult hardpoint. I mean, we kind of saw a similar comeback, not really a comeback, but Toronto versus Thieves the other day in the CDL, kind of a similar moment to close out the game in this position. But and yeah, obviously with the new well, the new JackAL, it's maybe slightly more challenging to win some of these gunfights than it previously was. I think another thing to note, the recoil springs, which the pros use, but for some reason Treyarch banned them from ranked. They are now allowed again, so, you know, congratulations, I guess Treyarch finally figured that out after a few days. But a couple of clips that I wanted to share for you guys. There was one as well talking about Scrap and Drazah. We know that they were beefing heavy back at the major, of course. Nadeshot knows a fair bit about Beef and Heavy back in the day when him and the Slayer got into it. If you guys aren't aware of this clip, I think this is UMG Chicago 2012. I want to say that's the event, but I'm sure many of you guys are aware of this when aBeZy and Nadeshot were getting into it after the fact, and well, you guys could kind of tell here on the left-hand side, aBeZy pushes Nadeshot a bit, and then they all got into it. A lot of the drama was around the fact that the FAL, I'm just going to go down a rabbit hole of COD trivia and history, but the FAL at the time in Black Ops 2, the FAL OSW it was called, had a select fire attachment, and Big Time would use it to great effect. I think there was a decision made by the players going into that event, because it was relatively early in the Black Ops 2 season, not to use it. But then they decided, actually, no, we're going to use it anyway. So it was kind of one of these early, like, gentleman's agreement discussions. And aBeZy and that team wasn't very happy about it. OpTic won the tournament. aBeZy then pushes Nadeshot. And obviously the rest since then is history. So, but yeah, people are saying maybe run it back. Here it is. Yeah, there comes the push and then Nadeshot gets in his face. Oh, good times, good times. And, you know, people are hoping that Scrap and Drazah will square up on the main stage. Or someone will send in a right hook. Doubtful, I would imagine. But, and nowadays, the CDL would probably have some sort of repercussions for that, you would imagine. But yeah, I'd still like to see it. Be a great thumbnail, wouldn't it? Let's be honest, that would live on in the memory. Speaking of Drazah versus Scrap, there was this clutch. It wasn't technically a 1v3, it was a 2v3, 1v2. But within reason, Drazah got all the relevant kills. Kills Prolute first, trades out the second onto Skyz, and then finds himself in a 1 versus 1 to Scrappy. Got HyDra on the other side, to Scrap was in a 1 versus 2, and then Drazah guns him down, shoots his body, and gets that defuse. So nice play from Drazah, and Pro 8's going, well, as usual. Obviously Drazah having a pretty good time over there. But the most interesting clip for me was this one, when Zuma was trying to get Scrappy to spill the tea, basically, on what happened between OpTic and Thieves. So clearly there were rumours that they had been scrimming, and they do find themselves on opposite sides of the bracket for the minor. So if OpTic win, and then they win again against Toronto. So if OpTic beat Falcons, they play Toronto. If they win that, they probably play FaZe in the next round. Thieves are on the other side of the bracket. So typically the team is before the minor or any sort of tournament, or just any qualifier stretch really, they will not play teams in scrims that they are going to have to play. Now, of course, OpTic do play Thieves in the qualifiers in a couple of weeks, but you know, sometimes it's obviously worth it to get that practice. And it's interesting for Thieves because I wonder what Thieves think about the way that OpTic are currently playing, because we know that OpTic were very vocal last year and even this year as well about Gentlemate and of course Ravens, but last year about the New York Subliners, the way that they approached playing hardpoint and the fact that OpTic didn't feel like they were getting great practice. If OpTic are that bad, would Thieves even want to scrim them? Look, I think they still would. They're still the reigning world champions, and it's not like they're going to refuse a scrim and would never do so. But just the fact that Thieves were scrimming them maybe implies that OpTic are just getting better. And also for OpTic, it's the ideal team to scrim because Thieves are the best hardpoint team in the game right now by the numbers. And even if it was 5-2 to Thieves, as we're about to discuss, that's still not a bad result for OpTic, all things considered, one would say. Obviously, it's even better if it's the other way around. So Zuma was like, yeah, you got slammed by OpTic, right? And Scrap was like, oh yeah, you sure you heard that correctly? My read is, based on what Scrap says here, that it was Thieves 5, OpTic 2. You guys may read it the other way. Let's play the clip.
I stunned you. You have a trove. Close to you.
You went their side.
Ran their side.
And yes. Fireflies. It's close up, close up. Their side. I'm one.
Grab
He's
Louis,
one shot, he's one shot.
Good win, bro. Good win.
Let's go.
Oh.
Get their ass. Good retake.
Yeah, they just have 3
Finally,
AIs on the side.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
From a little birdie, y'all got shit on my OpTic today.
Did we?
They might pinch you.
That's what I heard.
I'm on. You getting
Oh,
in?
damn. I don't know who told you that.
One more big door.
One more. Let's go.
One of them told me that.
Let's tell me Sparrow. Sparrow stun.
Guess they shit on us then.
It's just nice.
Did you play? You played him today?
One shot.
Yep.
What was the map count?
Oh, just TJHaLy with the T1. Thank you, man. I didn't play too bad, chat. The lag wasn't that bad.
Wow.
Wow. To 8.
Not gonna tell you who though. Gotta figure it out yourself.
I'm guessing OpTic. going on with them, Ernie? Ernie, what's going on with them?
Not sure.
So my feeling is that Scrappy isn't really buying the idea that they lost 5-2. He then says 5-2 and says, I'm not going to tell you who won. And then the final words. Okay, let's say it was Thieves 5, OpTic 2. If it was OpTic 5, Thieves 2, then that's a mega result, obviously. And maybe they're making some serious strides. If it's the other way around, it's probably about expected. You know, are OpTic going to go in there and get 7-0'd by Thieves? Probably not. But yeah, difficult to say what maps they won, what maps they lost. Obviously the control as well was a factor in this discussion as well. When you play 7 maps, it's, you know, typically you've played 5 hardpoints and at least 2 of the controls. Maybe there's one that you didn't want to play, or they didn't play one of the hardpoints, or they just repeated a few of them. Who knows? But it would have been, I imagine, respawn. Typically, if you're going to play a search and destroy as well, you'll make it a bit of a longer scrim set. But yeah, so OpTic versus Thieves. Scrims, pretty fascinating. But right now, if there's any team that is set to benefit from this most, it is going to be OpTic, right? Like, the better practice they can get, the better position that they are going to theoretically find themselves in. And Thieves are meant to be the best hardpoint team in the game. So I think this result, whatever it looks like, is probably a sign that OpTic are making at least some degree of progress. Whether it's enough progress, that is a question. But you know, how many maps are Falcons winning off Thieves? That's just like, well, I'll take to you guys, I guess. If Falcons scrimmed Thieves in respawn, how many maps are they winning? I mean, I don't know how many they typically win, but probably 1 or 0, let's be honest. I mean, okay, how many hardpoints have they won at the CDL? 0. So, yeah, presumably yes. So I think OpTic will take some confidence in this. It might not be great, it might not be ideal, they might not be exactly where they want to be, but it's not seemingly the end of the world, and maybe OpTic, this is one of the first steps for them getting back to where they really want to be. But the minor, of course, is going to be particularly telling over the next couple of days, and I do wonder if we are ever going to see scrims come back for OpTic Texas, right? Because this is Shotzzy's tweet that obviously I liked, because I was like, yeah, sure, stream the scrims, I'm down, on the 7th of January. When he says, gonna be streaming scrims every day this year, maybe not close to major tournaments, think it's good for the scene and the team doesn't mind it, but of course if they have any problem with it, then I'm not going to, no comms, just audio. So look, he did clarify that if there's an issue that he will no longer do it, and maybe there's a couple of issues. Does Pridge want it streamed? Possibly not. And then secondly, does the team want it streamed right now because they are, well, obviously struggling and trying to improve and want to focus mostly on that? Probably that's part of it as well. So, yeah, Shotzzy was pretty clear, and even he has continued to be pretty clear that he would stream them. I think, you know, he said this on the podcast that they did, and Scump asked him, was like, hey, when you stream and practice again? And Shotzzy was like, oh, well, you know, I'm down, but the team isn't down. I think that was the implication there. So whether that's Kenny, whether that's Karma, like whether that's Pred, who knows. But with Hook, it was seemingly fine. And with Hook, their scrims were going well and they were winning everything online. But of course, that didn't necessarily translate into what's happened when they got to a LAN environment. And then, of course, everything changed over the last several weeks. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Is this a sign that OpTic are making strides? If they beat Falcons, which they should, let's be real, they play Toronto, and if they win that, they probably play FaZe. Maybe Surge is another possibility if that FaZe Surge upset theoretically could happen yet again. I think it's Boston, the other team on that side of the bracket, so yeah, pretty rough side for them as well again. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care. And I'll see you next time.
If they're giving up the bomb how they are, we just need to have a lurk. That's the only thing that's like, because like this guy's probably literally like.
I have a trophy. I can lurk.
I have a trophy too. I can.
No, someone lurk right at P2 and just tell it like really fucking.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, Drazah keeps running in by himself too.
Just do no shit. Make sure you don't sell yourself first. Then I have a trophy for us.
I have a trophy. Are you doing
Bet.
Those power nade in.
Don't touch. We have it. We'll let you know when it's activated.
Alright, bet.
I'm watching our maps. Are you playing that?
You are activate now. He's on that. Trap. They think. They don't know you're there.
Look at my inner. Yo, slid in. On the thing. I'm one shot. ReeAl's on the thing. Like on the. Nice. High star. I have a pinch.
Nice, man. Let's go. That was a good call.
I'm gonna take it.